Today we'll look at one of the most well-known characters in all of the Old Testament, the Holy Forefather Noah, over there, the fourth of the night. This story is told to us as kids, and we tell the story to our kids. We tell the story and love to hear it because it is so fabulous. The story has adventure, torrential rains, flooding, disobedience, bad guys, good guys, a happy ending, and animals. The book of Genesis tells us how Noah lived in a time when mankind turned away from God. The only ones left who had not turned from God were Noah and his family. Because of the sad turning away, God came up with a plan to start all over again with humanity. His plan was to rid the earth of evil by destroying the inhabitants with a flood, while at the same time sparing Noah and his family because of their faith. God kept Noah from danger by instructing him in how to build and equip a very special boat, so that the boat would take care of not only Noah and his family, but the animals as well. Noah, being obedient to God, built the special boat as he was instructed. We call this boat Noah's Ark. In our icon, Noah is even holding a replica or a model of the famous boat, his Ark. This boat, the Ark, this special ship, is what saved Noah because he was obedient and faithful. Noah, plus his wife, plus his 3 sons, plus his 3 sons' wives, plus all the animals in the Ark were all saved from the flood. While this is surely a fantastic story and occurrence, it may lead us to wonder, what does this crazy, long-ago story have to do with us? What does this crazy Old Testament story have to do with Christians? Jews and Muslims, believe it or not, embrace this story. Even non-religious people embrace this story because of various amounts of scientific evidence that surround and support the Great Flood. But what specifically does it have to say to Christians? Answering this question reveals a delightful surprise. The amazing answer is that Noah's story touches us literally on our feet. Every time we place our feet in a church building. To understand how this could be, we will need to look at a word that might be new to some of us. It's a short word and easy to remember. The word is nave. N-A-V-E. Nave is the root of the words navy and naval. And you probably already know that navy and naval are words that have to do with boats or ships or vessels that are used on water. What you might not know is that our new word, nave, is a word that describes the main part of a church building. It is the part we're sitting in and standing in right now. We are in the ship. This ship is the place we go to worship. This is the nave, the ship, the ark. Well, that is odd. Why would a word that describes a water vessel be used to describe the main part of our church building? On Sunday morning, do we say, let's go down to the water vessel and pray? Or time to go to the ship? We could, and maybe we should. It would certainly make the lesson that Noah has to teach us become as simple as a child's story. So, what does Noah's story have to do with the Christian church building? In Noah's story, he was saved by God from a flood, being in a ship. In our story, we are saved from a flood by being in a ship. In Noah's story, the flood was water. In our story, the flood is the world around us. In Noah's story, the flood meant sure drowning and death. In our story, the flood is the futility of the world that ends in death. In Noah's story, the flood was terrifying and flood can be terrifying. Noah faced death. We are confronted by death. Noah was saved from death. We are saved from death. Noah was saved from death with his ark. We are saved from death with our church. Noah's courage came from his faith. Our courage comes from our faith. Noah's ark was a gift from God. Our church is a gift from God. Noah's ark was made of wood. Our church seems to be made of wood and materials, but it's really made up of people. Noah's ship was a symbol and a sign and a shadow of something bigger and better and greater to come. Noah's ship was a symbol and a sign and a shadow of the church. Our ship, this building, is a symbol and a sign and a shadow of something bigger and better and greater too. This building is greater than this building because it's an icon and an image of the real church, which is you and me. And all of our brothers and sisters here at St. Michael's, and all of these people on the walls and on the iconostas. When we enter the real ship, which is the saving place, which is God's bosom, as well as each other's loving embrace, we find our ark. We find the ship that saves us. That horrible flood named death will merely be water lapping against the sides of our safe and solid dome. We can know that the tumult is out there. We can know there's a downpour happening along with thunder and lightning and all at the same time be courageous and at peace, just like Noah and his ark. And we Christians know we are safe in the church because of what Jesus says about the church. Jesus' words can even be seen as a picture description of those waves beating with futility on the sides of Noah's ark. Jesus' own words about the church: "The gates of hell shall not prevail against it." This is the kind of peace and assurances we can have when we stand in the church. We can stand in this ship when we stand in this ark, where the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Since today is Pentecost, it is even more appropriate that we remember Noah's story. Since today is the birthday of the church, today we can have a crystal clear picture of the magnitude of the gift God has given to us by giving us the church. It is a great gift. It is the gift of a haven and an ark, which saves us from the flood, which is death. Holy Forefather Noah, pray